Hey, so real quick, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the reset and cortisol and weight loss. Um, and actually going to talk a little bit about iron as well. Hopefully I won't forget all those things. But let's go backwards. Iron. So it's really important, especially us as women, making sure our iron is up. One, that affects actually inflammation. If you don't have enough iron, you don't get enough oxygen to all the parts of your body. So you'll see an increase of inflammation. And when I talk iron, I'm talking about ferritin, not your hemoglobin. So a lot of times, and this personally happened to me, my hemoglobin was fine, and and so they won't check your ferritin, and so they missed checking the ferritin for years. After having babies, I was actually anemic and never knew until I started learning more and was like, yo, you need to check this. I have a lot of signs of low iron. And so I did, and it was so y'all, it was like at a 7. It's like almost to 0. So no wonder I felt awful, had inflammation throughout my body. So we have a great iron supplement. Vitamin C is so beautiful at helping you uptake iron. So if you do take an iron supplement, please make sure it's with vitamin C, and you can take it throughout the day. Just helps you absorb it. But ours has a vitamin C and a precision probiotic, which is really amazing because a lot of times gut inflammation is one of the reasons people cannot break down and process iron, and they need the specific gut bacteria to help assimilate it. And typically it might be missing, or just the inflammation is not getting to the parts it needs to. So ours is great. It's small, mighty, powerful, and very effective. And that's one thing to help with inflammation, leading into weight loss. So you find people plateau or they can't lose weight. Iron could actually be one thing. One, they don't have energy to go work out, and two, you have where you're just not oxygenating the body where it can release and lose weight safely and effectively. So that's a little thing. Going into weight loss and cortisol. So this is where I love my magic Metaburn. Metaburn is so good for cortisol related weight loss needs. And so cortisol looks like, let's say you're in menopause or in the various stages, or maybe you've just had a baby. And again, breastfeeding, you need to talk to your upline about that and the specifics of how to navigate any of that. But um, just understanding cortisol, if your cortisol levels will are not regulating correctly, that will impact whether or not you can lose weight. Bottom line. People under stress, like what it does to your systems is it will not let you lose weight. That's not the priority. Stress prioritizes. It actually, stress slows down your digestion, so it affects your gut health. It messes with your balanced blood sugar. It burns through your neurotransmitters. And that's three things that the MetaBurn I love does. So we have the triplex, we have our foundational gut health support, we're balancing our blood sugar, but MetaBurn comes in and adds this extra oomph. It's got 5-HTP, rhodiola. So you're working on your dopamine, serotonin. It's also got fat burning abilities, liver support built in. And so I call it my happy pill. Vital biome in that one are like if you're under stress, you have cortisol, you're trying to lose weight, like that with the triplex is great. Obviously, with good eating habits and stuff like that, we can't eat terrible and expect to lose weight by just taking a supplement. It's like wanting a magic pill. I wish it worked that way. So, but it's a great add-in. So, especially if you're doing targeting the GPL1 gene using the hunger control, black cherry blossom, and the balance, when you add that in, it's like an extra plus. Okay, so we had iron, cortisol. Oh, and that has Metaburn has adaptogens in it. So cortisol is connected directly to your adrenals. Your adrenals are typically overlooked and undersupported. And so that is great. And adrenals affect blood sugar balance. So if you have or you're having blood sugar issues, sometimes adding in an adrenal adaptogens that are like in Metaburn are extremely helpful. To just the overall picture. The other thing is when we're working with our reset, people a lot of times they will, oh, you're so welcome. If they have high cortisol, like what I was talking about, they typically will have less results with the reset. And here's why. When you do the reset, it is fantastic if your adrenals are in 100% working order. And I'm not saying not to do it because people typically do get good results in the beginning. But one thing I would say is add in maybe 2 to 4 weeks prior, if you know that the person who's doing the reset, adding in Metaburn or some type of adrenal support. The sleep gummy also has adrenal help in it if they're fine with ashwagandha and melatonin. Typically, I love the sleep gummy and Metaburn. You start pairing those, and they are so good for assisting weight loss. And so when we're looking at the reset, we want to just appropriately gauge where the person's stressed or just have expectations of if they're very, very stressed out, they may not get quite the results they need. And this is just a way for us to gather data to know where to move next and what their body is communicating to us and what needs we can support. Because really, the effective way to lose weight is listening to the body and figuring out what needs help. And everyone's slightly different in this. Now we have obviously gut health, blood sugar balance, inflammation. You're going to see things shift in people's bodies. And then when you get down into the nitty gritty of like, let's reset your metabolism, typically most people, like, let's say you do the reset and you typically lose like 6 pounds in 3 days. Let's say you do the reset again and you lose 1 pound and you're like, what happened? Or you have a customer who's doing that. You're like, what? It's not working anymore. No, what happened is your stress resilience from whatever it could be stress in your life, not sleeping, parasite load, like, so many different things that take your stress resilience and it basically starts to get it. And look, you don't have a whole lot of space to handle stress now. Like you used to have that. That's where you lost the 6 pounds. Now your stress variance is like that. So you no longer have the ability to like just drop weight like you used to. And so this is just some information to be like, oh, okay, we need to change. Yes, we can totally still keep doing resets, but this is letting us know your adrenals need help. And then I start asking questions about like how is their sleep? What is their stress like? What is their eating habits? How is their hydration? Because hydration highly affects adrenals. It runs off of minerals. So if people are drinking a ton of water, not getting enough minerals, you're just creating actually more stress on your kidneys and your adrenals because they're attached. They're the little things on top of the kidneys. So they work in conjunction. So you can add in hydrate, you can add in active, X Factor Plus. Like this is where we like have to start looking at the body of like, get rid of weight. It's like, oh, but what if we don't have the nutritional capital to get rid of that weight? And this is where it comes down to like being aware of stress and the resilience and how to help support the body in that. So that's just something, a tip of the reset. If you see that the person either isn't getting upfront results, like they lost like a pound, you can know that's cortisol. And they typically have a cortisol belly. There's a little belly. It's like a lower belly, and it just typically people get it when they start menopause. It's because the stress of their hormones changing so much, their cortisol goes up. That also, it's a hormone, cortisol. Uh, it is a hormone, so it messes with all the other hormones. So they might need 2 Slims a day or more E's, and different things like that to just help. So you have multiple tools looking at multiple different areas of where the person is, where their body is. Now, here's another key. When we're working with our customers or ourselves, we have to like look at the total picture. Like we have our own goals, but then we have to sort of set it in a perspective of what's realistic with what I have going on right now. Let's say you had a death in the family, you're having to move, and you got all this health issues going on. The realistic expectations of dropping 50 pounds in the next like 30 to 60 days probably isn't going to be as realistic of like, hey, because you're in a really stressful situation, your body's going to have a harder time releasing weight. And so, um, instead of just targeting like the weight loss, we want to do a multi-supported effect of like the MetaBurn, the GPL-1, um, and use the reset as needed. Because again, your body can't differentiate stress. Stress is stress. Like, happy birthday, surprise party is the same as putting um, your hand on the oven and burning it. That's the crazy thing. It literally does not, it regulates the same. And so if you don't have that stress resilience, it just affects it. And you just have to be aware and know and attenuate and um, have proper expectations. But no, you can. You can lose weight in stressful situations. It just might take a little longer. And so it actually takes um it takes the weight off of like why like this extra stress of why am I not losing weight? It's like you're not losing weight because life is crazy. So we need to support nutritionally. And when you find you start supporting nutritionally and just giving the body the nutrients what it needs like baseline and then above for what you're going through, you actually see the inflammation and weight to start to come off a lot faster. But if we target just weight loss and we keep continually stressing the body out, stressing your mind out because you're not reaching your goals, and then stressing your body out because we're not doing it in an effective way, then you just don't get the results you want. So it's sort of like a mind shift and just an awareness to stress. I see this happen with kids. I see this happen with men. I see this happen with women. Now, men and women are a little different because we go through our hormone fluxes, and men tend to be very static in their hormones. So they tend to uh, have slightly different results than women. But we're not as static like in our hormones. We have fluxes all the time. And then you need to address root issues like if you're living in mold, or let's say you do have some parasites, or let's say you have really bad dysbiosis, that all creates a certain amount of stress. And so let's do step 1 and step 2. And really, you can actually start feeling better really quickly if you're doing the right things. And if you're not, it's like, okay, then something is bottlenecked. It's stuck. It's like not flowing. It's like your sink. If you are dumping a bunch of trash and you um don't have your disposal on, like how fast is that trash going to go down that drain? It's going to back up, going to fill with water, hence inflammation. That's what you see. Um, so hopefully this helps you guys and just gives you an encouraging note. And you know how better to support not only yourselves, but others. And really, it's just sort of a mindset shift that I've had to learn over the years. And I start to coach not only Plexus customers, but my natural path clients. And then if we have what feels like a setback, I say this is actually a place of information gathering. Nothing is ever a setback if we don't use it as information to move the needle forward. Then it is. Then you're just going like you're just doing the same old things and feeling like you're on the same tractor. But I'm trying not to get into too much detail. Um, but knowing what to target when is super helpful. And sometimes knowing like Data, if you need to go get like your vitamin D checked, or you want to do like hair mineral analysis or things to get more data. But typically people can pretty baseline work through um, and highlight stress and cortisol, and that will make a difference. Oh, and drainage pathways. If you have any of those backed up, you do like that's lymph, liver, kidneys, and gut. If any of those aren't flowing correctly, due to medication, stress, diet, or other, there's like five main things like heavy metals and different things like that, that can influence and just back that up, and even genetics, then you, if you're not flowing, the thing stays stuck, sort of like the sink that I was talking about. And so keep in light what you're doing and take notes on it and find smart people, friends. Like this team is full of so many wise, smart people. Our Plexus has so many wise people that are willing to share. Start learning from them and start working through the process of sometimes elimination. Okay. Anyways, so I'm going to digress and go into more naturopathic stuff, but um, know that you what we have, and that's you can target um, the stress very comprehensively. A couple things for heavy metals. Slim is great for heavy metals. Getting your GI tract moving is great. The greens is great for heavy metal pulling. Not like chelating, but just helping bind and get it out. Let me think of any other things. Um, Vital Biome's a great um, probiotic to recover from antibiotics. Like I highly suggest someone's on an antibiotic, add that in for a year, and your gut will be doing very, very well in recovery. They say antibiotics probably they increase risk of depression and anxiety and stuff. So just adding that one has Saccharomyces boulardii, if I'm saying it right, which is a great one for recovery from any gut inflammation and antibiotic stuff. And I think through all my things. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Okay. So I hope you guys have a blessed day and I'll talk to you later.